Today, we're talking about what was originally my most hyped land at Epic Universe, and that's Super Nintendo World. Since all of the Epic lands have really come out, and we've gotten a little bit more details. I hate to say it, but Super Nintendo World is not my most hyped land anymore. Um, Honestly, it's Dark Universe. Pretty excited for Dark Universe, and we've got new details that have been revealed this week. And next week's episode, we'll go in depth on them. But today, we're talking about Super Nintendo World. So let's take a tour around Super Nintendo World. We know we've already got Super Nintendo World internationally, right? I think it's at Universal Studios Japan. We've also got a smaller, sort of scaled down version, although it's not little, at Universal Hollywood. Now, I've not had the chance to go to any of them. I haven't stepped foot through the portal into Super Nintendo World yet, but that's all gonna change. It's all gonna change next year whenever we get Super Nintendo World in Orlando. And this land is like it's the land for anyone who's a kid born in the 80s who grew up in the 90s. If you played games at all, you played Mario. You played all the games. Regular, Super Mario Brothers, Mario 3. Most people skip Mario 2, even though it was a cool game, it was just really different. Super Mario World, Super Mario 64, all those games, right? But Epic Universe has introduced what I think is going to be it's definitely the biggest. Not what I think is going to be the biggest. It is the biggest, but also one of the coolest, right? So you're going to get to step in to not just one, but two worlds, right? Because you get the Mario Brothers land, but you get Donkey Kong Country too. Donkey Kong Country is my jam, y'all. Like, it is so much fun. I played it on the Super Nintendo. It's just a good time. And to be able to go into some of the things that they're building and bringing to life is going to be like, I would feel like such a giant child, and I'm excited for it. But we're going to take a little air tour around Super Nintendo World like we have for all the others. First and foremost, the thing have to acknowledge is that this is a beautiful land that feels like you have actually stepped into the games. The colors are bright, the motions are real. Like the plants look like and move like those. All the shells, the mushrooms, everything, the colors, everything looks like you would expect it to look from the game. We've got Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge inside of here, and as you continue to go through Super Nintendo World, you come to Princess Peach's castle, and we keep on moving around. You got Yoshi Adventure. That's going to be fun. I mean, it won't be thrilling by any means, but it's going to be a cool ride and definitely something very attractive for families and kids. Something you can hop into and just kind of move around Super Nintendo World and see the sights and freaking ride Yoshi. Y'all, that's cool. I'm gonna be on that. That's for sure. And as we come around, there's going to be these interactive challenges. And if y'all have watched anything on Super Nintendo World, you have the power up bands, and you go in here and you can earn points. You can keep track of them in the Universal app. Really, really cool stuff. And you see the little power band app or icon here. If you're watching the video version of this, you can see those things. And it just is these little interactive games that you can do throughout the world to gain points, and just it brings the whole land to life. It makes it feel as if you're actually in the video game, which, I mean, that's the whole purpose of this, right? Is the immersion. Then you got Toadstool Cafe for food, and if it's anything like some of the other parks, visually the food looks incredible. It looks really, really cool, and I've never tried it, so I don't know. I've heard opinions from other people on how good some of the food is. I'm sure some of the items that are in the other Super Nintendo worlds will make their way into Toadstool Cafe in Orlando, but we'll have to wait and see. Don't really know the full menu just yet, but we're going to explore these. I'm just taking the tour around Super Nintendo World right now. We'll dive into some of the specific attractions here, and then you see we take the little tunnel, go through the portal from Donkey Kong Country, and show up in a freaking beautiful land. Like, this is awesome. Like the Minecart Madness, this ride. I mean, if you played the game, you've ridden it. You've seen the broken track, you've seen the jumps, you've seen all of that. And the fact that Universal has patented a technology and figured out a design to make it seem and look and make you feel like you're jumping on the track, kind of blows my mind. I think it's cool, it's genius, and it's going to be a really fun experience. I don't even know how to put it into words. Like I'm really excited for this thing because it's something completely unique, something completely new, and obviously, as Universal does, the theming's going to be on point. So that sort of takes us completely around the entirety of Super Nintendo world. But like I mentioned, there's two different areas, right? There's the Super Mario Land and there's Donkey Kong Country. So inside of Mario Land, you've got the Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge. And you can watch the videos online of this exact ride in the other versions of Super Nintendo World. The big difference, though, is when you watch those videos, because this is an augmented reality or like a 3D style ride, you don't get the full experience. I can't wait to ride this because on the videos, you're watching the POVs, it makes it look like they're moving really slow. When in reality, the feeling that you get is that you're blazing through these tracks. So I'm excited to ride this. I think it's incredibly cool. You get to collect digital coins. You want to beat Bowser, throw shells. It's like a real life Mario Kart, which, man, who doesn't want to live that? I mean, that just sounds fun, right? You got Minecart Madness with Donkey Kong. Again, this is the roller coaster. Let's go into this and look through some of the details. You know, height requirements, 36 inches. That's mind blowing to me. I mean, that's nothing. That's 3 feet tall. That's not tall at all. So this is going to be somewhat thrilling. I'm wondering if this is going to change, honestly. I do really wonder. Children under 38 must be accompanied by an adult, but 36 inches to get into the ride. It's going to feel like you're riding the game. They don't give a ton of details other than it opens in 2025. It's a thrill ride, and the minimum height requirement, if you have an accompanying adult, if you're under 48 inches, is only 36 inches. So if you watched, I mean, you played the games, you know, you pretty much know what to expect with Donkey Kong and the Minecart Madness. You know, you can go through ride the Yoshis, help find glowing eggs. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. I'm going to do it. Definitely going to do it. I'm going to be one of these guys right here, no kids. I'm just going to be on that ride and living my best life, riding around in Yoshi. And then, obviously, meet and greets. You're going to have Mario. You're going to have Luigi. You're going to have Princess Peach. You're going to have Toad. You're going to have all the different characters as far as meet and greets. So that's what makes these parks something special, is to get to meet the characters that you grew up enjoying playing in video games. And that's just cool. That's Universal and Disney do this on a whole different level. And I think this world is going to be just one of those really cool things that you get to step into and enjoy and kind of relive that childhood. And that's always a good time. You know, looking at Toadstool Cafe, as mentioned, you know, details for the menu are coming soon. But if it's any indication, you know, you're going to have some drinks, you're going to have some treats, you're going to have some really, really fun, visually cool looking items inside of here. And then we talked about the power-up bands, right? You got interactive key challenges. You got a bunch of different designs for all the different characters in here, including Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, which I think is going to be really cool. And I wanted to shout out here, if you don't know about it and you happen to find this podcast, but you haven't listened to Discover Universal, go check out that podcast. It's badass for a few reasons. Number one, you always get behind the scenes, really, really, really cool information about things that happened at Universal. I know that last year for Halloween Horror Nights, they did episodes specific to each one of the houses and really specific to the story and the lore behind each one of the houses. If you like Halloween Horror Nights and you don't listen to this, trust me, it makes the event so much better. When you know the backstory, you're walking through the different scenes and you know the thought that they went through whenever they were creating the stories. It makes it more engaging. It makes it cooler. You see little details that you might have otherwise not known. That podcast is really cool, and you know they're going to be explaining all the thought process, all the details, all the creative ideas behind the lands in Epic Universe. I've been listening to it, and I think it's a premier podcast. They do a great job. You can also sign up on Universal site if you want to get all the up-to-date news on what's happening at Epic Universe. Look, you can always stay here, subscribe to the channel, and get the details right from here, right from us at Epically Universal. You can follow me on Twitter. You can have those conversations. I say Twitter, X. I use those interchangeably. You know what I mean. Also, if you're watching the video and you prefer doing this on YouTube, you can subscribe. You can get the video version of this podcast, and then we can go into detail in the comments below. So I'm going to leave you like I have with every one of these Universal or Epic Universe land videos as we walk through, is that I want to know your most, like the things that you're most excited for, the areas of this land that you're most excited for, the attractions, the experiences, whatever that may be. What are you most excited for, or what are you least excited for? Leave that in the comments. We'll keep the conversation going. And if you follow me on X, hit me up with your thoughts on Super Nintendo World there. As always, I appreciate you. The very next video that we do is the one that's left ahead of the final announcement. So we've got the Wizarding World with details that are coming soon. We don't know exactly when, but we just got the details on the Dark Universe. Y'all, this is my most excited house. I'm in HHN mode. This is the land that I am the most excited for. And I'm not even the biggest Universal Monsters fan. I just have a feeling this land is going to have so much love and attention because, let's face it, Universal made their mark in movies around their monsters. And for them to have their whole land, I think is going to be cool. The horror makeup show at Universal Studios is one of my favorite shows because it takes you through the history of that, how they made them, how they did the animatronics, how they did the makeup. I think it's just really, really cool. And then HHN is my favorite event, definitely my favorite event of any park anywhere. I love it. It's so much fun. And so I think that Dark Universe is going to be one of those lands that just kind of blows people away. Plus, there's some cool rides that are coming. So if you want to learn more and kind of take the trip and the journey through the Dark Universe, subscribe to the podcast and catch the next episode where we're going to kind of dive into the Dark Universe. So as always, thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. We'll catch you in the next episode. We'll see you then.